Hey filmmakers, I'm Darren Levine, your Filmmakers Festival in New York City Festival Director. And I want to make a little video to help you try and get accepted into the festival. I run a no BS festival, no politics or any other BS involved. We base our acceptances on an actual scorecard. And I am not the person that says you suck or you're good. I have judges that have merits, such as working for HBO or being on the SAG board, that actually watch every single film and go through the scorecard, and we actually accept films based on the highest scores. So that is how I call us a no BS film festival. I would hope all the film festivals are like that, but as I think many of us seem to have figured out, a lot of festivals do have politics, but hopefully they will change their ways. We can only hope. But this video is to help you prepare your film, or to know if your film is ready to get into this festival or other festivals. I thought a lot of these things were actually common knowledge amongst filmmakers, but since getting into making this festival now 3 years ago, I've seen some things that I don't think I should have seen or my judges shouldn't have seen. And this is the first year where we're openly promoting our zero risk option, which, you only pay if you get in. You have to pay double, but you only pay if you get in. You're in, so your money's going towards something, which I think everyone seems to be liking. But anyways, some people, before we even had that, were sending in their money and sending in stuff that didn't make sense. We were looking at it and saying they just threw their money away. I mean, we can't give you your money back if you send in a submission. Every festival's like that, because we need to have money to pay for things, such as a screening room and our time for watching everything. So I wanted to make it more efficient, make it more where we only get films that we accept. I mean, I can't have every single film get accepted, because there would be no actual competition, there wouldn't be any merit to it, and we'd have hundreds of hours of filming, film screening. So that wouldn't work. So I just want to try and make it so that you send in something that will more likely be to get accepted. I'm not being very verbose about this or very articulate, but I think you get the idea. So I'm going to take you into a little bit how we score. And like I said, I have two judges, and they get all the films and they watch them and they go through this scorecard. And I act as a tiebreaker only, so don't try and bribe me. So let's just go through each of the categories. Imagery and visuals. Let me clarify this. Pixels will not get you in. So yeah, you could say it's 4K. I honestly don't care. Neither do the judges. It's how are the shots composed? Is there nice framing? Are things out of focus? That kind of thing. How pleasing is it to watch? Is it a nice film? Now for documentaries, it might not be the same thing. Archive footage can still be beautiful. The way it's used, how well is it presented? So documentaries will have a different visual aspect than something cinematic. So again, that one category kind of encompasses all those things together about how nice is the image. Then we go on to the story. That I sometimes double weight just to see if there'll be any difference. Usually there isn't, but I sometimes double weight it because the story is everything. If the story is boring, you're done. And I know sometimes I see filmmakers say, oh, just wait till the end. There's going to be a great thing. You can't sit next to every audience member and say, oh, just keep waiting. It's going to get there. It's going to get there. No. If you're not hitting the proper plot points, or if you don't have the proper plot points at certain points along the way, you're lost. So are there very key points? Are there, plot pinches and stuff going on to keep us interested in the story? You can't just have a story that kind of builds up to just one ending, but there's nothing there to keep us interested along the way till that ending. Shut up, phone. So, the story is very important. Next, we've got characters and acting. A story can be great, but if we don't believe the characters, aka the actors portraying those characters, then we're going to be lost. So, I kind of always tell people, if you're using your family and friends that aren't real actors, not likely going to be great performances. Sometimes there are, don't get me wrong, but having real actors, and especially regardless of friends or family or real actors, whatever, casting, actually having them read lines and comparing people and finding out who's right for the role. That's all I'm saying. So moving right along, direction. This is really the pacing of the film and how the overall film comes together. So in direction, we're trying to look for, how does it work? Is the story, it's kind of, a similar thing to the story. The story section, we're looking at the actual story. In the direction, we're looking for how the story is paced. Not necessarily if there's the proper plot points, but does it feel like we're being rushed along one part or slowed along another part? And all the stuff in between. And then editing. Editing is obviously, not quite. Here's my edit bay, by the way. Welcome. And editing, we were looking for, do we notice the editing? Good editing you usually don't notice. That's why a lot of people don't get editing and they don't understand it when they're watching the Oscars, because they're saying, I don't see what's going on. What am I looking at? Because you don't notice it. That's why it's good editing. So in editing, we're looking for anything that just doesn't make sense, or it's jarring, or maybe it's a jump cut, any of those kind of things that would take us out of the experience. Then audio and sound. I put that one last on the list because that is the real killer in a lot of these submissions and a lot of filmmakers. If your sound sucks, it really brings down your points. These are all on the same level. They're 1 to 11. And I kind of use the whole Spinal Tap thing. If it's really exceptional, really hit strong, give it 11. But 10 is really the high end, and 11 is really for something I tell the judges, something you maybe haven't even seen before, or something really just, it took it to another level. So in sound, if your audio is really bad, you're going to lose a lot of points, because if I'm talking right now and you can't hear me, or you're noticing noise in my voice, it takes you out of the viewing experience. So anything that takes you out of the proper viewing experience of the narrative is going to lose you points, and audio is no exception. So if you're just using on-camera sound from your camera, probably not going to get a lot of points in that section. You got to obviously use either lavs. This, you can see the lav because this is not narrative. You would not hide that under the shirt, or use a shotgun, or ideally both. Get a proper sound person. Bottom line, if the sound is no good, you're going to lose a lot of points, and that's where a lot of filmmakers lose points in the festival and don't get in. Also, obviously, this includes the soundtrack, or using pleasing and proper music. You know, whether it's a band performing or whether it's something you have composed. Does it work well with the story? Does it make the viewer say, what is going on? Why am I hearing this? It doesn't make sense. All those things you got to think about in your sound design. So those are the main categories. And like I said, they're on a 1 to 11 scale. We have the judges both fill out their scorecards. I get the totals, and then we see the highest scores and what came in. So I've seen some things that were very good, of course. We saw some great films, but some things, not a whole lot of them, some things that look like they belong on YouTube. I'm not going to mention anything specifically because I don't want those filmmakers to feel bad about themselves, but they do need to start looking at things like this. I've been posting these tips, actually. They're available right on the submission page since last year. And still last year, I got some things that if people looked at the list, they wouldn't have wasted their money in submitting, because they would have seen, well, that list, it says, oh, I'm missing this whole part right here. I'm going to lose points. Not going to get in. So I want you to be able to get into the festival and other festivals. And these are the criteria and what you should look for. A lot of them are very basic filmmaking principles. So much like my other tutorials I make on the side, other than the festival I run, I want to help you make better films. So this is the way you can look at it from the festival standpoint of what we're looking for, or at least what this festival is looking for, to get your film into the screening room. So hope these were useful to you. If you have any other questions, always send an email and I'll respond and send you more info. And hopefully you make a great film, and hopefully we show it. Take care.